Scott just made the point yesterday.
It used to be a lot more secure, not just.
Seven years is a long time to have a show on the internet, have a show anywhere. But Stephen Green, Bill Whittle, and I have co-written and co-hosted Trifecta for a bit more than that. I'd like to introduce right now, for the last time, Stephen Green and Bill Whittle, and welcome them in for this final episode of Trifecta on PJTV. You know, each Monday since 2009 sometime, we jumped on a conference call with our producer to propose topics for the week. We scrambled to write questions, intros, and conclusions overnight, and each Tuesday we recorded 3 to 5 shows. Steve tells me, and I'm inclined to think he's correct, that we've probably done about 2,500 episodes of Trifecta. So this is the last Trifecta on PJTV. The network will go dark on May 11th, and this is our final week of production. But as they say in the infomercials, but wait, there's more. Now, Stephen Green, you're still young and still have the use of some of your mental faculties. What is, as you look back over this time, what is your fondest memory of our times together?
You know, I couldn't pick a single moment or even a single story, and I hate to say this, but working in TV, the work is ephemeral. When you're talking about the news, you do that story and you grab onto it and you squeeze everything you can out of it. And then next week you do it again, 3, 4, 5 times. So if you look back and you try and go, wow, that was the moment that really defined my experience, I can't do it. What I have, though, is the whole thing, the gestalt, the cumulative, whoa, we did this, the three of us, and the producers we've had over the years, and director Dave, our one shining constant in the control room for 7 or 8 years now. That is what gets me. This thing that we've been able to do week after week without a miss. It's amazing, and I don't know how many times I've told this story. It's just a little tiny story, but people look at me like I'm crazy when I do this. But the conference call you mentioned, midday Monday, every single Monday for all of these years. That conference call is the highlight of my work week. And maybe that makes me nuts because I know everybody in the world hates their conference call. But I get to pick a story and dorm room bull session it with my friends Scott Ott and Bill Whittle until I think I've got a good handle on this story. And then we get to sit down in front of the cameras and talk about it. And that has been such a rare treat. Such a rare privilege, and Director Dave and the rest of the crew back there, they've taught me so much about a business I knew zero about when, for whatever crazy reason, somebody decided to bring me on board at the start.
You know, I wasn't planning to say this, but let me just add, because Steve, you brought this up. I wish we could turn the cameras around. I wish we could show the people behind the scenes that make this happen. I wish you could then not just see the people in the booth and in the studio, but go out into the office and see the people who work so hard to make this possible. And the only thing, this is my only complaint about Trifecta in all these years, is that we don't roll credits at the end and show all the people that have put so much into this show and have made it as good as it is and better than we possibly could. Well, anyway, as some of our faithful viewers recall, the three of us, Steve and Bill and I, first appeared together on a PJTV show called Meet the Blogs. Here we are with the late, great Andrew Ian Dodge in the lower corner there. And that show featured a rotating cast, but it always seemed to work best when the three of us were together. Now, Bill, a lot of people don't realize this because, you know, as you know, we are in the pay of the Koch brothers and our neo-Zionist overlords who tell us what to do. But Bill, no topic was ever off limits for Trifecta. No one ever told us what to say or not to say, and we shot it live to tape, as they say in the business, with no post-production editing to clean up something stupid that we had said or something that was wrong. People don't realize this was, in effect, a live show in which we got to say whatever we believed about the most important issues of the day. So, Bill, you know, as you think back, what's your best memory from the Trifecta archive, which, by the way, is surely bound for the Museum of Modern Punditry even as we speak?
You know, the only episodes that really jump out in name is the Smart Man and Off episode, which I think was one of our most popular, if not our most popular.
Yes.
And the reason I like that, because that was a great way to combine political commentary with something that was really kind of funny and trendy, and we've been able to do that quite a lot. I just want to mention very quickly what you mentioned about our crew here. I can't speak highly enough about them. On my final afterburner, I'm going to grab as many of them as want to come out, and we're going to bring them out on the stage so everybody can see who is doing the great work behind the scenes here.
Nice.
So you can look for that.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll give you two specifics, and I'll give you the final general. The part I like best about these last 7 years has been watching you guys close the show, usually close the show. Sometimes you get off great lines in the answers and the great lines in the beginning, but Steve has always got this kind of wild kind of martini twist of lemon on the end of it. And Scott, you know, you've been the moral center of this show since we got here, and you have made yourself cry, made me cry, made other people cry more times than I can tell you. They've just been so heartfelt and so beautiful to listen to, and it's just been an absolute honor and a pleasure working with you guys. So if you want to know what my favorite part of the show has been, it's been the 7 years of stuff that happens between the episodes. That's been my favorite part by far. It'll come as a shock to most of you. It comes as a shock to me to say that I think I've probably met Steve Green in the flesh maybe 3 times, 3 or 4 tops. Scott twice or 3 times, more than that, 5, 6 times total. But we are brothers. We're brothers that meet every week, and we see each other live, and we joke, and we talk about the latest, and we sing songs, and we tell jokes, and you know, we do everything we want to between these episodes. And the ability to spend time with my 2 brothers like this every week for the last 7 years has just been tremendous. And I'm going to stop talking now, which is unusual enough in itself on this show. But I wanted to thank all of you who watched it and who gave us a chance to do this. Thank you. And to the degree that we've been able to be some source of brightness and hope in this, it's been our pleasure.
Well, I'm not going to let you stop talking yet, because I do have one more question for each of you.
Okay.
Steve, shows come and go, but when your grandchildren ask you about the enduring message of Trifecta, what will you say? How will you sum that up?
Oh, liberty and hope. Don't give either one of them up. Not ever.
Very succinct. Thank you. Oh, Bill, in your mind, what's the legacy of this show? And perhaps more importantly, and this is a little hint, what's the future?
My favorite legacy of this is that whether this country survives this plunge into socialism or not, I will be able to turn to my grandchildren, and when they ask me what I did in the great ideological war, I won't have to say, well, son, I shoveled shit in Louisiana. It's that great line from the Patton movie. I think it's an actual quote from George Patton, and they'll probably bleep it, but you get the idea. I think the thing that is the most important to me is to know that in times of real crisis for this country, the 3 of us have been able to do our best to serve the country, been able to do our best to fight in the areas that we know how to fight in, which is in the cultural battle, the messaging battle. And I think mostly the appeal of the show is to give so many people out there hope. Not hope for a better future so much as just the hope that comes from knowing that you're not alone, that you're not the last person out there who thinks that this is a mess, that you're paying too much taxes, that the defense is getting weak, the kids are getting stupider. You're not the only person out there who misses the days of individual liberty and responsibility. And we've got at least three other monkeys here that feel the same way you do. So I think that's definitely it. As far as the future goes, on this final Trifecta episode, I just want to mention, first of all, by saying I'm quite self-conscious about this. I actually genuinely am. When we got the news, which was fairly short notice, that PJTV was going to conclude its programming, I got on the phone with Steve and Scott, and within 10 seconds, we decided we're going to keep the show going at least as long as we can. And the part I'm self-conscious about is that it's going to be hosted on Bill Whittle channel on YouTube, and in order to keep that show going, we need members at BillWhittle.com, because this show is a show that costs money to do, and Steve and Scott were getting paid, as was I, and we're all losing a big hunk of income here. I don't mean to sit here with the Tim Cup, but reality is reality, and that's the reality. So I wish it had been Trifecta.com, but it's not. So if you like the show and were a PJTV member, we'd love to have you be a member at BillWhittle.com. If you weren't ever a member here and you'd like to become one there, it's going to take members to keep this thing going. But I do want to say that we will be back next week with 3 trifectas the way we always have for the last 7 years, because we will not give up ever.
Well, to quote Shoeless Joe Jackson from my favorite movie, Field of Dreams, oh man, did I love this game.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I would have played for food money. It was a game. Shoot, I'd have played for free. Bill and Steve and I got paid to show up, to turn on the camera and lights, and to look at the lens. But they could never pay us to think, to write, to care, to love, to speak. We've been in the same room together, as Bill pointed out, just a handful of times in 7+ years, and yet we've thought deeply, talked passionately, and joked broadly and childishly together. I have no better friends. When we don't see eye to eye, our mutual respect demands we speak frankly, but with malice toward none. We listen with open minds and have often persuaded each other. If there's a legacy for Trifecta and a hope for its future, it's that we 3 happy warriors are merely extensions, shadows of those who made this possible for us to do. You. We say boldly out loud what you think in your heart. We have the luxury of saying it at work with no serious repercussions, what you long to say where you work and live. And perhaps every once in a while, we craft a thought or turn a phrase that you can use without getting fired or treated like a pariah or made to sleep on the couch. If so, it's been worth it. It's been an honor to speak to you, for you, and with you. But all good things must come to an end. But not if we have anything to say about it. And we do. We look forward to keeping the Trifecta legacy alive over at BillWhittle.com and on YouTube. If we build it, will you come? For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at PJTV.com, I'm Scott Ott.